So in today's video, I went hunting at Goodwill to see what I could find that needed to be loved again. So in today's video, if you are new here, my name is Yvonne, and I love to take secondhand preload items that I find out and about and share the process with you all of how I would get these items back out there to be loved again and get them into beautiful home decor. My next piece I'm going to be working on is this 2 little drawer file cabinet. Nice little wooden cubby. I love the little detail on the top. Goodwill find, probably overpaid, but it's a solid wood piece. Yep, solid wood piece. Woo. Dark wood holder. Target. The little papers out. Okay. Let's get the maybe. There we go. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get that off or not. Target wanted you to know that this is a solid wood piece. We are going to put the world's biggest sticker on the bottom so you know it. Use a heat gun. Heated it up somewhat. So might as well get these off too. Whatever doesn't come off, I have to prep. I have to scuff sand it anyway, so. Even heating it up, it left some sticky behind that's just going to gum up my sandpaper. So I'm just going to use some lemon oil to eat away that sticky. Just put it on. Some people like Goo Gone. I just use lemon oil. Just takes seconds and it eats it away. So now I'm going to take some 80 grit sandpaper just to scuff sand it. Just get it's really smooth. So So what I was doing is I was taking a little bit of the sharp edge off, just pushing my sander down a little bit. So it doesn't look like it's such a new piece. You just, for a second, just let that sander go off to the side. Same thing with the top and the bottom, so that it doesn't look like it's so brand new. So the drawers in here are pretty tight fit, so I'm not going to try to paint the whole, I'm not going to try to paint everything. But I am going to take the time to tape off so we get that clean line. Now that I have it all taped off, I tape off first. That way that I can keep on working. If I wait till after I wash or tape off after I wash it, it could be wet still. So I like to keep moving on my project. So that's why I always usually tape before I wash. So I'm testing out a new color by Sweet Pickens, the milk paint. Love Bug. So it is the sweetest little yellow color. So when I'm picking out the shade to go with that little 2 drawer box, I need something that's going to coordinate with the color I'm leaving behind, which is that warmish red color, so that it matches. You don't want to put something like totally not matchy. If you not use Sweet Pickens milk paint, it is a powder paint that you mix with water, and it's equal parts. I don't have a very big box to do, so I'm just going to do 2 scoops. And then you stir it for 2 minutes. It kind of aerates get some bubbles going on. But do stir it for 2 minutes, trying to get all that yummy dry off so it doesn't make like big clumps. You can use a little electric mixer like you do for your little smoothie drinks, or a little beater, like one of those little beaters. I just use a plastic spoon and it seems to work just fine. So 2 minutes and then sit it off the side and let it thicken up a little bit. So I'm going to spray a little bit of shellac on these just to help my milk paint stick a little bit better. I've got some raw wood and then some of that stain still on there, so that'll just help it stick a little bit more. So I let these dry. Let my paint sit a little bit. I'm going to stir it back up though, so any settlement that went to the bottom, get it all mixed around again. Then I have way too much paint on my brush now. And we'll just start painting. Just thin coats. I rather put multiple coats on a smooth piece like this to get it to crackle and chip, than try to put it on too heavy where it'll just make a mess. So light coats just take multiple, light colors just take multiple coats. So this is coat number 2. I'm working on the body of little 2-drawer cubby. Getting my little edges first. And you can see how that second coat really grabs onto that first coat. But 2 coats isn't going to be enough. This is the hardware for the yellow 2-drawer. Like this one doesn't have a lot of color to it, but this one kind of has like a bronzy coppery look to it. And when I put it against the yellow, it kind of has like a Santa Fe, like that kind of look. And that's not the look I'm going for. I want it to be a little bit more salvaged. So I'm going to make them a little bit rusty using some iron. I'm not going to put the primer on it, just the base coat, just the iron paint. And then I'm going to go ahead and spray them with some of the green patina. And actually, right on top of that, I'm going to do just here and there. I think the blue will go well with the yellow. Oh, this yellow is an awesome color, but look at the crackle that it did. Oh, pretty. Okay, I'm going to clear wax because I don't want to darken up the color, and then I'm going to aging wax to get in the crevices and pop that crazy. So clear wax first so that I don't really darken up the color. Because remember, it's milk paint and you have to seal milk paint in, so you might as well have some fun with some waxes. If something chips off, we don't really care. Actually, I might chip it off a little bit. Doesn't really matter that I waxed it a little bit first at all. I got ahead of myself. So clear wax back on. Yep, I did get ahead of myself. Oh. Ooh, it just subtle, just a little bit of color change. But not gonna, I have to do what I did to this, I have to do to this, so I have to wax it first because that's how I sanded it. I knew that I needed to sand it because when I'm doing this, I can feel it gripping, that it's not smooth like where the hardware was. So I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to sand that. Okay, time to put it back together. And go get the knob, the newly painted hardware. The patina, the blue patina showed up wonderful on one, not on the other. Unpredictable, I said. If it's going to blend or not. But I did seal it in with some weather defense. So I think the papers will still look good stuff back in here. So I am going to put some of these little tiny feet on this so that the paint doesn't scrape off. Those are just those hard rubber little gliders. So just stick them in the corner. So the story is I did pick this up at a Goodwill probably 2 years ago. It has been sitting in one of my retail booths for 2 years. Nobody wants it. So, hello, come on. I don't know, because it was raw wood and it does have some stainage. I have one similar in my own decor. So I'm gonna paint it. There's that, but it's really raw wood, as you can see, with the staining going on. So we are going to seal it in with some shellac first. And then I did have an afterthought that I should stick a little tight bond glue down here to glue it in place. It kind of reminds me of the ugly duckling that nobody wanted it, but I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful wooden piece. But so let's see, if it doesn't sound natural, you just paint it. Yeah, I think I'm going to tilt his head just a little bit. Now for the bird, I'm going to do lantern black. I'm just going to keep it classic. I didn't feel like white. I don't know. I'm going to try black. Sometimes you just go with your gut feeling, and I think lantern will just bring him to life. So I'm going to try to start off around the bottom. First. The glue's still drying, but that's no big deal. We'll just go in there. It's not going anywhere. I'm not going to worry about the glass eyes because I'll be able just to scrape the paint right off that. Or they'll be fine just the way they are. They actually look better, personally. Okay, the one side is pretty much dry, so I'm going to flip it so I can get the other side. Okay, now we've got Mr. Duckie here. He did crackle a little bit. We got all sides painted. So now we're going to take some 220 sandpaper and I'm just going to give him some more age. And be able to see he has a lot of wood grain. So I really wanted that wood grain from this piece of wood to pop. Oh, that'll be so pretty. Okay, I got him all sanded. So now let's just take that towel, wipe him off from the sand. Now, when it comes to dark paint, like black, I don't want to do clear wax on it. I want to do like a dark wax. So I'm not going to do black. I want to pop his features and seal his paint in, but I don't want to keep him so black. So I'm just using some of that aging wax. So it won't really make it brown, but it'll just liven up the paint and richen it up. Just give him a different hue. Oh, that is gorgeous. Shine, baby, shine. So these are just metal outdoor. They don't have to be outdoor, but they're metal flowers with some very fake patina on them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give them my patina using Dixie Belle's patinas. I love running across pieces like this, though I wish the layers would come apart, but they're not going to. So let's get these little Goodwill tags off here. So luckily, I should be able to bend them up to be able to paint them, but that's when I get the layers done. So we're going to go ahead and at least wipe them off. I don't even know if these were even used. Look at some of the red paint's coming off. Dipped in Dawn dish soap and hot water. So I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Prime Start. This has a lot of pieces and parts, and I don't really want to try to sand to get something for the other patina paint to grab onto. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the Prime Start primer, which is like a reddish rust color. Usually I would use a stencil brush to like do some dabbing motions, but I've got to get really in some detailed space here. So I thought I would try the longer brush and then just still do my dabbing motion. That seems to be getting in there just fine. Good. I was hoping that it would. Time consuming, probably, but it's crafting, it's recreating, it's making something your own. So not necessarily for me is it all about how much time I spend on each item. Okay, I have the outer ring done. Now I'm going to just like slightly push these down. I don't want them really touching the other ones to take the paint off that I just put on, but I need to get at them. So I'll kind of just hold it up with my finger so it doesn't bounce down and then get the paint on that way. Now you have to wait for your patina, the Prime Start to dry, your primer to dry, before moving on to the Dixie Belle iron. There's bronze and bronze and copper also, but I'm just a fan of the iron. I just like how it turns out. So unfortunately, I got to start off by brushing to get underneath there. So I'll just brush it all on. It's just a hard surface to get into. And then I'm going to go back in and just like do some tapping motion like a rust would be raised. So get it on first and then go back and add some texture. Doesn't matter how thick it is because this sits off to the side with the spray anyway to activate. Okay, I have the iron paint on. I'm not worried about trying to do full coverage. Just looking that it is on. That's why the rust patina is nice. That's underneath that color because it all kind of goes. Yeah, so you just have to trust the process. So now we're doing the green patina spray and I'm going to do a light mist over the entire piece. So sometimes I like to go in and I like to play. So I've already got the rust and it's been sitting about 15 minutes. I'm going to give it another little mist just so it's wet still. Now I'm going to go in with some of the blue patina, but I'm not going to use the spray bottle to do so. I want to control where I'm putting it. So I'm just going to put it on a paintbrush. And then just let it roll, which it is going to roll down the edges here. Just to show the difference between the blue spray on top of the green spray on top of the iron paint, I'm going to do some of the yellow patina on this one. I did not pre-spray it first, but same thing. I'm going to go along those lines, let it run. If it drips anywhere, oh well, it's just that perfectly imperfect what rust does on its own. We're trying to control what rust is doing. Okay, now I have it all painted on and I'm going to mist a little bit more, reactivate that iron paint. So now I let these completely dry overnight, just the way that they were, like where it pooled down. So they're dry now, but I need to seal them in with some weather defense. So if somebody wants to put these outside, that they can. Now I'm going to be working on these tall, long, that's long candlestick. This one has a plastic insert that has a hole so you could use different candles on it. And then this one's just flat. So Goodwill find, $5.29, originally at Kirkland's. This one was $5.29. Also bought actually separately. And this one looks like it was a Ross. So first we'll get the stickers off. And then what I'm going to do, since we don't have matching tops, this one's, I told you it was really tall, hard to get in the frame. So I guess you get me in the frame. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to make these a little bit more matchy. So to make them matchy, I have some of the Hobby Lobby. These are coasters, like in the wooden section, the unfinished wooden section at Hobby Lobby. They are actually on sale, where the other little detailed round ones usually are too cheap to be on sale. But these are perfect to go on the top of these, even though like that's just covering that up. That's fine. It just is making a more of a flat, so you can do a battery operated candle or put decor. Some people like to put birds on top of here. I mean, I could try to pry this off, but usually they don't come off and they make more of a mess. So what we're going to do is we're just going to glue them on. So in my little handy dandy glue dispenser applicator, oop, I think there's some tape right there. Somebody had some tape I didn't notice. Let's get that plastic off there. Okay, all good now. So this is Quick Bond, thick and tight, quick and thick. There we go, quick and thick. Which I don't know necessarily if the applicator was made to do this one, because it takes a little bit more effort to get it to come out. But I like the cure time is only about an hour, so it's a little bit faster than the regular tight bond one. So then we just are going to put it on like this. I have a board. Then we're going to flip it over so that it has its weight to hold it down. And then I want to make sure that I got it centered, wipe off the excess glue around the edges. And it feels like it is good and centered. The tight bond products will be great even for the plastic. It'll be just fine. So my tops are attached now. They're dry, but paint is super shiny. I'm not going to try to sand that. They feel as if they are real wood, which is good, but I am going to seal the whole thing in with some shellac. That will help my paint adhere to this without having to sand it. It'll fill in this raw wood. So let me grab my mask and then I'll get that on. For the candlesticks, I am going back with that chippy white paint, flour sack, make them look like they're old salvage pieces. Okay, time to get to the candlestick, but I'm going to flip it upside down first so I can get this area. This has been sitting, so I want to give it a stir, get those yummies off the bottom, and then yet again, way too much. Turntables, Lazy Susans, they just make it so easy to work on your projects. Because I can just spin it around. Okay, then we'll flip it so I can get the other side. So we got some beautiful crackles on these. It stuck. The couple coats of shellac worked for what I wanted it for. Oh, gorgeous. Didn't chip off, which is even better. I did last night off camera. I touched up the bottoms to make sure that my bottoms were clean with some Fusion Coal Black paint. Because, you know, milk paint runs, it's runny. So, I mean, you could tape off, but the color was still the same color as the candlestick. So I went ahead and did that off camera. But now I need to seal my milk paint in. So I'm going to use some of the Fusion's clear wax because I don't really want to change the color off too awful much, but I want to pop those the crackle. So after I put that on, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the aging wax by Fusion, which will get into all those little crevices. See how the dark wax just gets into those crackles and makes them pop a little bit more than the clear does. Oh, love that. So I sealed it in with the clear wax. Now I'm just wiping this on. Then if I think that it's too dark, my waxes are still wet, so then I can just take some more of the clear wax and then buff it off. I want them to look like older pieces, but I don't want it to look like it's brown. You know how white paint doesn't usually stay white. It gets aged and has those elements. That's exactly what this aging wax does. It gives the elements. Oh yeah, in the crevices, oh, just a huge difference. I have this little bit worst for wear wooden bowl, so the top coats mostly come off of it, so it just looks a little bit on the nasty side. So I'm just going to sand it a little bit, see if I can get some more of that top coat on just to get a good base. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get it washed up. I think that's pretty smooth. Dawn dish soap, hot water, works wonderful. We've got a lot of textures going on here. So I am going to go ahead and seal this in with some shellac, just so it doesn't take, the paint doesn't take unevenly where there, even though it's smooth to the touch, there's still different porosities in the area of the raw wood where it's stained, where there might be some top coat left back on there. So a couple coats of shellac will fill that in and make it a little bit more even. Okay, to paint this one, I'm going to use Miss Lillian's, which I don't really care for the packaging, to be honest. So Miss Lillian's No Wax Chock. The play on words. I like the color though. So the just Duckie, I like the color. The packaging, unfortunately, bothers my. But anyway, don't worry about me. But look at the color is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful for this little bit worse than wear bowl. Painted bowls sell really well for me. And actually, the primitive wooden ones, maybe it's because like everybody at the antique mall, a lot of them have them in their booth. So, but I can't, I'm not painting a good wooden bowl. I'll paint a bad in shape wooden bowl, but I don't want to paint over a good one. But painted bowls sell better. It's weird. Heck, next week wooden bowls could sell because I just said that. I do like the paint. The container just, I don't know. I know, you know, everybody's got their thing, and but what a fun color. And it goes on smooth. It's very smooth paint. Okay, first coat is dry. So let's see how the second coat takes. I think it takes really well. I'm just going to go the opposite direction I went the first time, just to help eliminate any brush strokes. But no, coverage is great, and I love the color. Now I have this beautiful bowl. The color's awesome, but it just looks like a painted bowl now. So I'm going to take some sandpaper and sand it. Whatever comes off, comes off. This paint I find does sand really easy. So this is just going to add some age. It's going to smooth out any brush. It really levels. There's not really a lot of brush strokes, but I'm just looking to give the bowl a little bit of age by like wear marks where it would be touched and stuff. I'm in the shop. I use the air compressor a lot to blow off the items that I've just sanded. I sweep up later. I'm a little leery about people that their workspace is too clean. So now I'm going to go in with some of the clear wax by Homestead to seal this paint in. I'm kind of probably going to test out to see if I like the antiquing wax on it too, to give it a little bit more age. But let's get this clear wax on it to see what it does. Start my trial off on the bottom of it in case I don't like it. Then I won't do it in the inside. So this is Fusion's aging wax. Oh yeah, I knew I would. Just gives it that little bit of like this bowl has been around for a while. So thank you so much for watching today's video. And as always, give me a quick comment. Which of the items I made over were your favorites? Do you have any of these in your stash? Or will you be looking for these when you're out and about secondhand shopping? And as always, let me know down in the comments if I have inspired you in any way to look at secondhand finds in a new way. And thanks again for being part of my YouTube family. But if you're not part of my YouTube family, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.